Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of Taught2Profit.com, and today I want to talk to you about one of the biggest hindrances to success today. And it is mental indolence, mental laziness. This is not people who are necessarily lazy themselves. They may go work hard. They may actually put in a lot of physical, manual labor even in their jobs. But where they're lazy, where they're indolent is in their minds. They're not thinking. There are often people going through the motions, doing things that they've been doing for years, never questioning why they're doing this in the first place. Never questioning, is there a better way? And this is not to get into that work smarter, not harder mentality, because that's also an error, because it thinks that you can replace hard work with only smart work, and that's a mistake, because you do need to work hard, but you don't need to work hard needlessly. And there are some people who are really legitimately working hard. They're doing their best, except mentally they're not. Because the very thing they're doing, maybe they don't even need to be doing it. There are whole corporations that are doing things in a certain way because it's always been done that way, and everyone's afraid to rock the boat, to change anything, to even suggest that there's a better way. So they just keep doing the same thing, the same wrong way, the same harder way that is needlessly harder, because the purpose of hard work is to get more done, is to be more productive, it's to use your energy and giftings and talents to the best of your ability. It's not to just work hard. It's not to needlessly and mindlessly and aimlessly work hard like some sort of brute beast. It is to be thoughtful and intelligent and wise in your efforts that are getting the best results. And yes, you work hard, but you're doing it all unto the Lord. You're doing it for a wise reason and a good purpose in bringing more value to the world. And how many people in today's day and age think every day? There's old sayings attributed to various people about thinking and about how many people would rather die than think, because people confuse mental activity, that there is synapses firing, there's activity in the brain, with thinking. But the reality is, and science is learning more and more about this, that the vast majority of your thoughts are under your conscious level, subconscious, and they're not you actively thinking about those things. And in so many cases, people are in ruts, and they are literally like robots, pre-programmed to do things a certain way, to think a certain way. So when they see a problem, they only have a couple solutions to choose from. They may think that, oh, I thought about that, and there's only these things I could do. But often there's a third and fourth and fifth and many other solutions that are available, but they don't recognize it because they haven't even taken the time to think. Now, this is one of those things that is sometimes hard to understand, because people will say, well, I chose what coffee I drank today, or I chose the food I ate. But even that isn't a very limited scope. It's not real thought. It's very likely in most cases that people chose something they've chosen dozens or hundreds of times over the years. This is why people get in relationships with people that are almost identical to the previous person. The same problems, the same issues. How do they manage to find that exact person? Well, part of it's their vibrational state that they're operating in. But another part is that they haven't sat down and thought about really what they're looking for, why they keep getting these bad people, and how they can do things differently. That can sometimes feel difficult. And it's easier to just go with the flow, to just do what you've always done. You know that, you know where it leads. It is more stable, it feels like, at least. And it is more consistent. And so oftentimes, the vast majority of times actually, that's what people fall in line with. Doing what they've always done, the way they've always done it, the way their family's always done it, or their country, or whatever it is. That is the template for what they're following. And actually thinking about it isn't even a thought in their mind. And so I want to encourage you today to think. As you go throughout your day, consider your ways. Why are you doing this particular activity? Why are you doing it the way you're doing? Is there a better way? Now, it being the way you've always done it is not any kind of validity. It doesn't give any kind of credence to that way. You may have always done things a certain way. Your company may have always done things a certain way, and it may be completely wrong. It could also be completely right. It could be the exact way to do it. But you need to examine this. You need to really make sure that you've thought this through, you've realized the various options you have, and that you are taking the best route. The route that is the most efficient, the most effective, and the most intelligent. Not because you're trying to get out of hard work, but because you're trying to do things the right way, and you're doing all things unto the Lord. One thing you can do is, if there are issues in your life that keep coming up, you can literally physically sit down with a pen and piece of paper and write down all the potential solutions for that issue. They can be dumb. They can be outlandish. It doesn't matter. You're not showing this to anybody else. This isn't anything to go post on social media. This is for you to think. Because even those thoughts that are maybe outlandish or foolish even, will start bringing up other thoughts. You will start to build upon that foundation of thinking, and that's when you're able to tap into God's infinite intelligence and learn from Him and be taught from Him and seek His wisdom and get it liberally. But you'll never even seek that wisdom if you're just doing things the way you've always done it. If you're not ever sitting down to think through an issue, to consider and ponder your ways. Because even if you get wisdom from God, you won't act on it. And this is why it's so important to think. This is not to say, of course, that other people are dumb. Oh, they're not thinking. It's not like that. They're just going through the motions. This is what most people do. And it's what humanity gets on, this autopilot, where 95% of their thoughts are just subconscious. And the few thoughts they have in a day aren't really thoughts. They're just different variations of that programming. The food they eat, the clothes they wear, it's the same stuff they've always been doing for the most part. The route they take to work is the same way, or to the grocery store, or whatever they do. It gets into a rut. And if you're in a rut, if you look at your life and the way you lived last week is the same way you're living this week, the way you lived this month is the same way you lived last month, you're in a rut and you're not thinking. And that's not an insult. That is to hopefully wake you up so you'll really stop to think and consider your ways. Now, you don't have to get yourself stressed out and start analyzing every single movement in the day, because that will lead you nowhere. It'll just burn you out on that, and it will make you give up. And sometimes people will do that in order to sabotage themselves. So just take one thing, one major issue that keeps coming up in your life, and think about that, address that. If it's finances, what can you do differently? Do you only look at your work as the only source of income? Is there something else? Isn't God your supply? What can you do differently? Is there maybe opportunities for advancement in the company you work at and you haven't been taking them? If you have your own business, what is a way you can get more clients, more customers? Is there a way you can improve your product to bring more value to the customer that would in turn bring you more customers? There are these things you can think about that will address issues in your life and bring about a better result. And God wants you to have this wisdom, and He'll give it to you liberally if you ask Him and actively take action on that wisdom. So as I said, my friend, I encourage you to think today, to sit down, seeking the Lord, seeking His wisdom, writing down every idea you can think of to solve that one particular issue you're addressing right now. And watch as the wisdom of God flows liberally through you. And great, wonderful, wise solutions to that issue well up out of it. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.